You know, I wouldn't say it was my raison d'etre particularly. I mean, if I had to live without it, I could, but it's been, you know, it's been part of what defines me for a very long time. You know, I've always been someone who makes things. That's what I do. It's always been a hobby. I'm a scientist by training, profession, and life's work, but I've always been a maker of things in the background. Each bit of wood has its own destiny, which you don't really know until you start digging into it and find out what's inside there. I mean, you pick up a piece of wood and you always have some sort of imagination as to what's going to come out of it. You start to see what the grain is like, what the figure is like. And you think, well, maybe if I turned it over and went the other way, it would look better. It's always a sort of iterative process. There's that point where you put a finish on and suddenly, you know, it starts to really shine at you and tells you what it's really going to be like. That's when it's really exciting. When it suddenly tells you finally what it's going to be, or that you got its destiny about right. I had this maple, which has this glorious ripple figure in it, and it was left over from another job. And I thought, it's much too good just to leave in the garage, so I thought I'd better make something nice from it. And you can see, that's beautiful. You look at how it looks with a bit of solvent on. You see it's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece of timber. I was brought up in an engineering environment. I was born and brought up in the Black Country, completely surrounded by engineering factories. Both of my grandfathers were not engineers, but people who worked with their hands. I mean, my paternal grandfather was a shoemaker and my maternal grandfather was an iron founder. So I kind of grew up surrounded by people who had workshops and by people who made machines. For me, it's always been a form of relaxation. I mean, I've spent most of my time, certainly in the later part of my career, was pretty much desk bound. I mean, if you're spending all your time at a desk thinking or producing PowerPoint presentations, actually making things is really rather good fun. I mean, I've been collecting tools since I was 10 years old. I've had that since I was 14. But others, I mean, some of these, that one I bought just a couple of weeks ago. I didn't need to buy it, I wanted to. Joe says I buy chisels like other people buy picture postcards.
So how many chisels have you got?
Oh, about 60, I think. Drawers full of them. All sorts of different woodworking chisels and various Japanese ones down there. It's actually two different metals. There's a very hard piece of steel at the back, which forms the cutting edge, and then there's a much softer block of steel laminated onto it. It's as sharp as a razor, be careful. For anything that's fine work, you tend to go for the Japanese ones. Woodworkers are always looking for the perfect chisel.